At long last, Apocalypse is finally rank 4. And I say that because he is a champ that I've wanted to rank up for quite some time now. And not because I enjoy using him, but because he's just so good and so useful in almost every game mode. But I tend to prioritize my rank ups for Alliance War, so Apocalypse has been sitting at rank 3 for a long time because I barely use him in that game mode. However, recently I did have a need to actually bring him into Alliance War, which prompted me to finally take him up to rank 4. So this was the 5th war of season 41 against New Nation, and I'll just be going through the fights that I used him for, starting with Pride with Ebb and Flow Knockdown and Heavy Hitter. So this is a fight that I usually take with Guardian, or sometimes Nimrod if it works better for future fights on the path. But it's not too difficult without a kitty counter as long as you don't crit too much, just so it's easier to bait and block her special attacks. So for Apocalypse, it's basically a free ramp up fight since she is a mutant. You just need to be aware that you can't punish her heavy attack due to Heavy Hitter. And of course you can't parry stun her while she's phased, so I was a bit annoyed that my first 3 hits were crits, so she was able to phase within 5 seconds of the fight starting. Usually you love to see that RNG, but not against Kitty in this situation. Fortunately, she dropped a combo ender instead of a heavy attack, so I was able to punish that and push her over 1 bar of power, so I could bait a special 1 and then just block it to remove all the prowesses. And now that I have 2 bars of power, I can parry heavy to remove protection and let her dash at me before I drop a big special 2, which does just enough damage to put me back at 2 bars of power. But protection comes back soon after that, so I do need to parry heavy again before I drop that final special 2 to finish her off. So not too bad, and now my Apocalypse is fully ramped up. And next up we have a new matchup, Kate Bishop with Power Snack, Prowess Buildup Unblockable and 1 too many hits. So this was my first time fighting her outside of the event quest and incursions, so I knew Apocalypse would work well, but I couldn't quite remember how to deal with her special 2. I couldn't get a dual target and I didn't feel like learning from just watching old videos, so I figured let me just hit on Suicide so I can just take her out in 1 or 2 special attacks. So she didn't even get to use a special attack in this fight, thanks to all the power boosts and bonus damage. This actually ended up being one of the quickest fights I've done this season. So yeah, that was pretty satisfying, 190k health in 23 seconds with Apocalypse. So now I have one more fight which is gonna take a lot longer because he is a lot tankier. We have KT1's rank 5 Kingpin with Recovery, Safeguard, Indomitable and Vigorous Assault. So whenever I crit, I am gonna hit that damage cap of about 3.5k. Until I drop my special 2, which places a concussion, so I can lower the ability accuracy of the nodes. However, it's only a 35% concussion, so I'm still going to be hitting that damage cap more often than not. But it doesn't really matter all that much because Apocalypse has multiple sources of damage. Just need to stack those debuffs and let the red numbers and special attack burst do the work. And the one nice thing about using Apocalypse for Kingpin is he cannot shrug off any of your debuffs. But the downside is he also can't purify any of his own debuffs, so he just keeps on building rage as the fight goes on, and that just gives him more combat power rates, so you are gonna have to bait special attacks a lot more frequently if the fight keeps dragging on, because I'm not even sure if there's a cap to his rage. I just know when he takes damage he will just keep on building them every 20 seconds. And his AI was a little bit annoying to start with, just not throwing special attacks very quickly, because I do want to bait that special 1 to make sure he doesn't go unstoppable. And for this fight I am going to use the special 1. It is a much longer fight so I don't get that much power back, so after the initial special 2 it's basically just special 1 spam. Even though I am still running the Suicide Masteries, I shouldn't need more than 2 special 1s to finish him off. And it's the last fight so I was never really concerned about health loss, but either way I would just heal up afterwards. So the special 1 does a decent amount of damage with all those debuffs. Just gotta make sure I get my parry heavies in so they don't expire. And just be patient with baiting the special 1 because at this stage he is getting a full bar of power from 1 combo. But at least he's not gaining health, so the fighter is pretty well under control. Just gotta bait 1 or 2 more special attacks and then drop my own and he will eventually go down. I actually enjoyed using Apoc more than I thought I would during this war, but that's going to be it for this one. Hope you found it interesting, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.